Good morning. It's Harvey Jackson from Producer Profit. Just going to go through some of the top news items over the weekend. Trump makes concessions to phones and computers, and it's no wonder there, as he had a couple of those people at his inauguration. So yeah, he's going to keep his friends close. Stocks rally as the electronics get a tariff break, and this is not just in Canada or in U.S. It's actually the world. It's actually helping out all of those. But what it has been doing, all of his tariffs, is actually putting pressure on the U.S. dollar. So the U.S. dollar is actually falling apart or a decrease in value. Now, that could be a good thing for trade for them as well. But all the other currencies have been gaining, and probably for a good reason, as people within their own countries are going to support their own countries, and that increases the value of your own dollar. And that's happening in Canada as well. This article just talks about the inflation expectations and what is the Fed going to do. The Fed is probably going to have to react to some of this. Now, what is the data going to show them when they are actually looking at it here as well? But there's, expectations for the U.S. consumers is actually quite high. Here's just a graphic that Karen Braun put out, just a visual that you could actually just look at, what percent is China and U.S. to China kind of scenario. It's not as big as one would think on both sides. So the U.S. exports, it's only 8.8%. U.S. imports at 17.1%, and then China exports, it's 14, so it's a little bit higher than over for U.S., but China imports, it's only 7.2. So they can play this tit for tat, but it's not as impactful. So the commitment traders is here, and you can see that it's basically flattened off a little wee bit here. And if you just take the last 5 days out of here, you can see why it's flattened off. It was going flat, but it's pretty amazing that the commitment traders, of course, it's all delayed information. I don't like to pay attention to it, but when you look at this, the bulls are probably going to take over again back on corn, because it already has. Here's Susan Stroud. She put out just who the exporters are and the stocks to use, and it's quite tight. Here's just a quick visual of the vessels going across the Great Lakes, and this is the staging area where they dump into bigger vessels. And I did put a pin on one last week, and it's already halfway across the ocean. So what it has in it, I have no idea, but it's getting pretty concentrated. Boats are lining up at Thunder Bay as well. So the futures trading report that Kyle puts out just shows this visual here as well. The canola crush is actually down a fair bit, but we are at 8 million metric tons crushed year to date, where 7.5 last year. And that's written up here too. Nothing really stands out here. This is the canola position that's been put on. It's already a pretty good gainer. We're looking at these values that we need to price into, and we're getting pretty close to some of these now as well. But still looking for that 700 for the target to sell there. Here's your soybeans. These are added, so expecting the market to come up and then short the market coming down. Same thing with the corn, as it's going to hit these higher watermarks. You could put those orders in with your broker and just leave them sitting there, because we're not there yet, and we actually have setups for market gain on the way up there as well. So canola, we're trading down just slightly. Rapeseed is trading quite strong up. Soybean oil is basically flat. Crude oil is up as well. Soybeans just basically flat, and your wheats are all down 5 to 10 almost cents, and the Canadian dollar up. So here's your canola front month. Pretty steep little curve going up here. Probably looking at making sales when we get to 680, because you could see that we've got there a few times if you needed to sell, and I would be looking at that kind of a range. And this is your July futures, the contract that we do have on already. Some guys entered right in this area, still looking at 698 as their sell point on that. Here's your European rapeseed, really or a really good day that we've gotten here today. It's got a lot of strength there. We are $182 or $183 higher than rapeseed is than in canola in Canadian dollars. If we have a look at the soybean oil futures here, it's pretty good recovery, almost all the way back to our 48 cents for 47 and 0.334 cents. Crude palm oil still looks like it might be waning a little wee bit here, but we'll find demand, and then that's what normally has been happening lately anyway. Soybean futures looking for to get to some of those values and then shorting the market. Crude oil still at the lower end here, but green day today, a little less fear in that in the fight, the tariff fight, and I think it could be looking like it's trying to create a little bit of a floor here. Same thing on the diesel fuel. And the Canadian dollar is basically taken off here, and we'll see how far that will go. There could get back to some of these values, which would be good, but it probably need to be shorted at some point as well. And our Canadian election might have some influence on here too, as there is either way there's going to be a change in policy by the sounds of it. So whether the Liberals will actually have any change in policy or not. Here's just a U.S. dollar index. We're making new lows, but going all the way back to 2022. And that's the U.S. dollar is just a basket, or comparing other currencies all against it. The dollar, here's your spring wheat, but it still looks bad when you've got a red candle there, but we're getting close to that need to break out of this 615 or higher for it to remain bullish here. Here's your Kansas, same idea, it needs to break out. Here's your Chicago, had a nice long day there, but it's trying to catch up to corn that I can see. And here's your corn futures, right? So, if we get up to those values, you expect to short them. Live cattle, it looks like there's maybe a potential little bit of a recovery trying to happen here as well. Same thing with the feeder cattle. And next report is the StatsCan.